Most men think women decide based on looks, money, or charm. But that's only part of the story. The truth is, women evaluate a man's energy, not just his image. They watch how you move, how you talk, how you lead, how you make decisions. Every interaction tells her something: your confidence, your focus, your maturity. Within minutes, she knows whether you're a man to experience or a man to commit to. You don't even have to say much, she feels it. The difference between fun for now and boyfriend material is invisible but powerful. It's in your presence, your consistency, your emotional control. Because to a woman, your behavior under pressure says more than your words ever will. This video breaks down the psychology behind how women decide whether to invest in you or move on, what they look for, what instantly kills attraction, and how to carry yourself like the man who naturally earns respect, trust, and loyalty. No games, no pretending. Just masculine truth. She doesn't need to be convinced. You just need to become undeniable. Point one, she judges you by presence, not performance. The first thing every woman notices isn't your clothes, your bank account, or your jokes. It's your energy. The way you walk into a room, the way you occupy space, the way you carry yourself when no one's clapping. Before she ever says a word, she's already reading you. She's not analyzing what you're wearing. She's studying how you wear yourself. Because confidence isn't something you talk about, it's something you radiate. And women feel that instantly. They can sense if you're a man who leads himself or a man who seeks approval. It's in your tone, your posture, your calmness. If you move like you're enough, she'll feel it before she ever decides it. Here's the truth: women are emotional psychologists by instinct. They pick up on micro behaviors most men don't even notice. How often you check your phone, how fast you speak, how easily you break eye contact. They're not just hearing your words, they're measuring your certainty. Because to a woman, presence equals safety. When a man is grounded, steady, and emotionally composed, she sees him as dependable. Not because he promises stability, but because he is stability. Psychologically, this is called nonverbal dominance. It's the subconscious confidence people feel in leaders, the kind that doesn't shout but commands attention silently. You can't fake it because your body and tone always expose your truth. If you're anxious, overthinking, or trying to impress, your energy will leak insecurity. But when you're present, fully in control of your space and emotions, you radiate leadership, and that's what turns casual interest into serious curiosity. Most men lose this advantage by overperforming. They try to make her laugh too hard, agree too much, or prove they're different. But every attempt to impress comes from a place of lack. You don't win her attention by performing. You win it by being unmoved. The man who can hold eye contact without flinching, who listens without rushing to speak, who carries silence like armor, that's the man she sees as boyfriend material. Point two, she tests your emotional control without saying a word. Every woman, whether she realizes it or not, will test your emotional balance. Not out of cruelty, but out of instinct. She needs to know whether you're the type of man who leads with strength or one who collapses under pressure. Every sigh, every subtle shift in tone, every "I'm fine," that clearly means she's not, those are emotional checkpoints. She's not testing your patience for fun, she's testing your composure. Because to a woman, your ability to stay grounded when things get heated says more about your character than any compliment you could give. Here's the truth: women don't fall for the man who reacts, they fall for the man who responds. When she's emotional, distant, or challenging, she's not looking for a fight. She's looking for leadership. She wants to see if you can stay calm when she can't. Because if you lose control of yourself, she loses trust in you. Emotional control doesn't mean being cold, it means being unshakable. It's when you can listen without taking everything personally, when you can stay present even when she's pushing your buttons. That kind of stability feels like safety, and that's what separates fun guy from boyfriend material. Psychologically, this ties into emotional containment, the masculine trait of absorbing intensity without becoming it. It's not about suppressing feelings, it's about channeling them. When you keep your cool during conflict, you're not ignoring her emotions, you're grounding them. Women instinctively respect men who can hold space for their chaos without adding to it. It's rare, it's powerful. It's what makes her see you as someone she can trust in the long term. Most men fail this test because they take everything as an attack. They argue, over explain, or get defensive. They don't realize she's not looking for logic, she's looking for leadership. And leadership doesn't panic when challenged. It steadies the storm. So when she tests you, don't get angry, don't prove, don't chase validation. Just breathe, stay calm, and stay centered. Because the truth is, a woman doesn't want perfection. She wants presence under pressure. The man who stays calm when emotions rise instantly earns her respect, her trust, and her curiosity. She knows any man can talk smooth when things are easy, but only a real man stays composed when everything isn't. Point three, she watches how you handle purpose versus pleasure. A woman can tell almost instantly whether you're driven by purpose or distracted by pleasure. You might think she's impressed by your charm, your humor, or your confidence, but what truly captures her attention is direction. Because a man without purpose is a man without gravity. He floats from moment to moment, chasing comfort, entertainment, and validation. But a man with purpose, he moves differently. He carries a silent authority, a focused energy that makes her feel like she's in the presence of something bigger than impulse. That's what separates the men she plays with from the men she respects. Here's the truth. Women are not drawn to constant availability. They're drawn to intentionality. She notices if your life revolves around chasing pleasure or chasing progress. When she sees that your time, energy, and discipline are built around something meaningful, a goal, a mission, a passion, she feels your depth. You become more than another distraction. You become a man on a path. And women instinctively want to walk beside a man who's going somewhere because purpose gives direction and direction gives security. Psychologically, this aligns with status signaling theory. Humans, especially women, are hardwired to detect ambition and resilience because they indicate stability and strength. It's not about money, it's about movement. The man who's building something of his own radiates a different kind of confidence. His focus says, I don't need to chase dopamine. I create it through discipline. That's magnetic. That's masculine. Most men lose this edge by becoming too comfortable. They make her the center of their world, and in doing so, they lose the very energy that attracted her in the first place. A woman doesn't want to be your purpose. She wants to witness it. She wants to feel inspired by how you move, not burdened by how lost you are. If your happiness depends on her, you've already lost your power. So remember this. Purpose doesn't compete with relationships. It defines them. A man who leads with focus earns respect effortlessly. He doesn't need to prove he's serious. His ambition proves it for him. When she sees that your mission comes first, she doesn't pull away. She leans in. Because deep down, every woman knows a man with purpose is a man worth following. And point four, she observes how you treat yourself when no one's watching. Before a woman ever trusts you with her heart, she's watching how you treat yourself. Not how you treat her, not what you post online, not the version of you you present in public, but the man you are when it's just you and your discipline. Because women can feel the difference between a man who merely acts confident and one who earns his confidence through self-respect. The way you carry your routines, your habits, your focus, it all tells her who you really are. If you're lazy, careless, and inconsistent, she feels it before she ever sees it. If you live with structure, self-respect, and direction, she senses it through your energy. Here's the truth. Women are instinctively drawn to men who lead themselves. They don't want to fix you. They don't want to motivate you. They want to see that you're already in motion, with or without them. Because self-discipline is proof of emotional maturity. A man who manages his time, health, and mindset is a man who can manage a relationship. You can't provide stability for someone else if you can't first provide it for yourself. Psychologically, this is rooted in self-concept validation theory. People subconsciously seek partners who confirm their internal beliefs. So when a woman sees you respecting your goals, your body, and your peace, she begins to associate you with security and leadership. You become a mirror of the emotional safety she wants. On the flip side, if you lack self-control, oversleeping, overspending, overreacting, she reads that as a future filled with chaos. And no matter how attractive you are, chaos is never boyfriend material. Most men try to impress women externally with style, money, words. But what really attracts her long-term is how you govern yourself internally, how you talk to yourself, how you handle setbacks, how you stay consistent when nobody's watching, because that tells her everything about the kind of partner you'll be when life gets real. So remember this: your relationship with yourself sets the tone for every other one. If you treat yourself like an afterthought, so will she. But if you live like a man of value, disciplined, calm, and grounded, you won't need to tell her your boyfriend material. She'll feel it in the way you move. Point five, she pays attention to how you handle power and pressure. Every woman can sense whether a man's confidence is built on control or chaos. She watches how you act when things don't go your way, when life tests you, when someone challenges your ego. Because that's when the truth shows. You can be charming when things are easy, but can you stay grounded when things get hard? Can you stay calm when someone disrespects you? Can you keep your composure when emotions rise? That's what tells her if you're just confident in words or stable in reality. The man who can handle pressure without losing control earns instant respect, not just from her, but from everyone around him. Here's the truth: a woman doesn't fall for how you act when you're winning, she falls for how you respond when you're tested. Anyone can be nice when they're comfortable, but real masculinity shows up under stress. She's not just watching your patience, she's reading your self mastery. When something goes wrong, do you blame others, complain, or lose your cool? Or do you stay calm, assess, and adapt? Because that calm under chaos tells her everything she needs to know about the kind of life she'd have with you. Psychologically, this links to emotional resilience theory, the ability to recover and maintain equilibrium when faced with challenge. Women subconsciously associate emotional steadiness with strength and safety. It's not about being emotionless, it's about being anchored. A man who doesn't flinch in uncertainty gives her something rare: peace. And that peace is far more attractive than charm or confidence alone. Most men crumble when pressure comes. They lash out, panic, or retreat. But a high value man keeps his center. He knows his reactions define his reputation. He doesn't prove dominance through aggression, he proves it through restraint. Because true power doesn't need to shout, it controls the room quietly. So remember this: pressure exposes what pretense hides. Every moment of tension is an x ray of your masculinity. If you can stay composed, if you can face challenges without breaking your frame, you become unforgettable. Because every woman, deep down, is searching for the same thing: not a man who's perfect, but a man who's peaceful under fire. Point six, she notices how you treat others when you gain nothing. The quickest way a woman decides if you're truly boyfriend material isn't by how you treat her, it's by how you treat everyone else. The waiter, the cab driver, the cleaner, the stranger who can't give you anything in return. That's where your character bleeds through. You can charm her with words, but your attitude toward the world tells her who you really are. Women instinctively pay attention to small details: your patience, your manners, your empathy. Because kindness without an agenda is rare. It's proof that your confidence isn't performative, it's internal. You don't need validation to behave like a man of value. It's simply who you are. Here's the truth: a man's true strength isn't in dominance, it's in dignity. Power means nothing if it lacks principle. You can have status, muscles, money, but if you're arrogant, dismissive, or rude, she knows your ego runs your life. And no woman wants to build a life with a man controlled by his ego. She's watching how you make others feel. Are you grounded or condescending? Are you patient when someone's slow? Or do you lose your temper over small things? Those moments reveal the kind of emotional world she'd live in if she chose you. Psychologically, this is explained by value congruence theory, the subconscious alignment women look for between a man's actions and his stated values. It's not what you say, it's what you do when no one's watching. A man who treats others with quiet respect signals emotional security and moral alignment, two traits that make women feel safe. Because if you can show respect to those beneath you, she knows you'll never look down on her when times get hard. Most men fake confidence through arrogance. They mistake intimidation for strength. But real confidence doesn't need to belittle, it uplifts. The calm, grounded man doesn't flex his power, he owns it through restraint. He doesn't seek to be superior, he seeks to be solid. That's the difference between attraction and admiration. So remember this: a woman might be attracted to how you look, but she falls for how you move. Respect isn't a strategy, it's your signature. When you treat others with quiet strength and consistency, she doesn't have to guess who you are. She already knows. Because real men don't demand respect, they radiate it. Point seven, she evaluates your consistency, not your promises. Every woman has heard beautiful words, promises, plans, dreams. But what separates men she dates from men she keeps is one word: consistency. She's not impressed by what you say once. She's impressed by what you do repeatedly. In the beginning, every man can be charming. Every man can show interest. But only a grounded, disciplined man can show up after the excitement fades. She's watching closely, not just how you start, but how you sustain. Because words excite her mind, but consistency earns her trust. Here's the truth: the modern world is full of men who perform well in the beginning and collapse when reality sets in. They send good morning texts for 2 weeks, then disappear when things get serious. They promise effort until effort requires discipline. And that's exactly where a woman silently decides: this one's temporary. You don't have to be perfect, but you have to be predictable in your integrity. When you say you'll do something, she notices if you follow through. When you show care, she notices if it's genuine or strategic. Because consistency tells her what kind of man you'll be when emotions fade and life gets hard. Psychologically, this ties to trust stability theory. The female brain is wired to associate consistency with safety. When your words and actions align, it creates emotional predictability, something every woman subconsciously craves. That doesn't mean being robotic. It means being reliable. You don't need to overperform. You just need to show up every time you say you will. The man whose actions are steady becomes the emotional anchor she doesn't want to lose. Most men lose interest once the chase ends. They confuse passion with purpose, but a real man stays consistent because his behavior isn't a performance. It's his standard. His word carries weight, not because he says it loudly, but because he keeps it quietly. That quiet consistency becomes her proof. She doesn't need to wonder where she stands because your actions already tell her. So remember this: consistency isn't sexy at first, it's irresistible later. It's what builds loyalty, trust, and respect. The man who masters consistency doesn't need to promise he's boyfriend material. His presence makes that undeniable. Because in the end, every woman knows anyone can impress her once, but only a real man can impress her always. Conclusion: 200 words. A woman doesn't decide your boyfriend material because of luck, looks, or lines. She decides it because of how you move. Every word, every pause, every reaction tells her whether you're just another phase or a man worth following. She watches your presence, how grounded you are when the world spins. She feels your energy, steady, calm, and composed. She tests your emotional control, not to manipulate you, but to see if you can handle the storm she hides. She studies your discipline, your direction, your treatment of others, and silently measures whether your actions align with your words. In the end, it's not the flowers, the compliments, or the promises that make her stay. It's trust. Trust that you are who you claim to be. Trust that you'll remain stable when everything else falls apart. Trust that your masculinity isn't performance, it's principle. You don't have to chase that trust, you just have to embody it. Because when you live with integrity, purpose, and self respect, she can feel it before you ever say a word. Every woman senses when she's in the presence of a man built from discipline, not desperation. Be that man, and you'll never need to prove your boyfriend material. She'll already know.